Hello everyone, thanks for joining for my SLOconf talk. And in this talk, I'm going to try to cover how SLO are SLOs. But a little bit about me first. I'm Ioannis, I'm Director of SRE at Paddle. I work with Paddle for 1.5 years now. And at Paddle, we try to make easy how you sell your software globally by dealing with all the pain points around compliance, tax, payment availability, etc. Also, like the last few years, when I start working as an SRE, also I became a SLE practitioner, like we use SLOs at Paddle, but also trying to be on top and work with lots of things around the industry when it comes to SLOs, like open SLO spec and all these nice things. So I try to evangelize internally and externally SLOs and the importance of them. I'd like to share first a little bit of background and ways of working with SLOs that can build up to things I want to share at the end. So as a payment infrastructure at Paddle, as you can imagine, one of the most important things we care is reliability, and our customers care for the same thing. So for this reason, in September 2020, we introduced SLOs at Paddle. These are ways to make sure that reliability is one of the best in the industry and how we can make sure that this is something sustainable. At the moment, we have 70 engineers and we have around 15 teams and 2 SRE teams. So first, I'm going to cover SLOs ways of working with the teams. Each team obviously, owns their SLOs. They have their ownership in components, etc. So it kind of makes sense they own their own stuff and they're accountable for it. There's a self-serve aspect of SLOs. They can go by themselves, create like dashboards, SLIs using data source provided, documents, etc. So they can go and do everything around the SLO themselves. We as SRE were responsible, to make the SLO platform is working, cover the needs, fix bugs, etc. So it's kind of something that we own as a platform, and we make sure it's one of the best for the teams to use. Part of the process of SLOs is to have review meetings. So these review meetings, I'm going to share in the next slides, the frequency, etc. But the whole idea is that the product teams are driving this. And we as SRE join the meetings, try to review the SLOs we have in place, suggest any new SLOs, the new service coming up, a new user journey, etc. And also we take the opportunity to share SRE updates. This can be not really related to SLOs, it can be something that we introduce in the platform, the tooling, that we want to make sure the teams are aware and also increase adoption. So when actually coming to review the SLOs, depends on how mature is the team. Either they're already prepared in the meeting, so they have reviewed like the small dips, as you can see in the example there, that something happened and they know exactly what happened, and continue discussion based on this. Or if it's like teams that actually now learning how SLOs work, probably it's something we do during this meeting, try to explain the small dips and discuss, get some actions, make sure we follow up in the next time. The whole idea is, we review the small dips, so we have less of bigger dips. That means that something worse happened. So what I kind of described here is the implementation of how we review periodically our SLOs. This comes from the SLO lifecycle component implementation. And it's something that I highly recommend to go read. You can get an understanding how you can work with SLOs and how you make sure things are reviewed periodically, you change, adapt, and go from there. And as I mentioned before, based on the level of the maturity of a team based on SLOs, we follow different flows. As you can imagine, it can be a team that is actually now learning from SLOs, so have to go and speak about them, about what is an SLO, what is an SLI, what is an error budget, show them examples how you can build that yourself. So it's start from the basics. But also have teams that are mature enough. They know more than well enough to do all the basics. They know how to work with SLOs, how to react on SLOs. So they're actually asking us for features on the platform. So it's quite, diverse based on the team, what you're going to have to work on. But it's very good because it keeps us busy with making sure, we know how to explain the basics, but also can do more complex things when we have to do it. And based on how mature is the team with SLOs, then either you're going to have a dedicated SRE member, which is not embedded SRE. It's more like being on top and helps with teams with the team with things around reliability. It doesn't need to be always SLO related things, can be other SRE related things, but also it's like something to make sure that the resources are allocated to the team that needs more upskilling on SLOs. And this is what we use to try to understand, go to a team, try to upskill them with SLOs, reliability, do some couple iterations for quarters, and then based on their maturity, maybe we go and change to another team more of our focus and change the frequency of these meetings. So it's something for us mainly necessary to know where the teams are and try to make sure our focus and our resources are in the right team to upskill and learn more. So that's all good, but how we know that all these SLOs that we mentioned now, all this process actually having a real impact. So how SLO are SLOs? First of all, I'm going to start with some numbers around adoption. Like, if people don't use SLOs, this is kind of the impact is much smaller. So the last 12 months, we saw a growth in component coverage to 158%, which is really nice. But also this can be also justified that more services created the last year. But the important thing is like pretty much every service that goes to production has an SLO in place, something that was not the case in the past. So that's already a win that something can work towards and like iterate while the service gets more and more traffic. The other part is the SLO coverage. Like we have almost 100% growth on how many SLOs we have in the platform. Some of the SLOs are complex, like it's like complex user journeys or something that is not easy, availability latency thing. So it's really nice to have these edge cases, these SLOs that requires a lot of thinking and make our platform in general better and better. But also in general, there's a huge growth on SLO coverage. The next one I want to cover is the internal customer satisfaction, like engineers, product managers. As SRE, we run internal surveys. And the last one, we asked them about the SLO culture in the framework, and 100% of them mentioned that it's good, very good. Obviously, they'll give us some feedback what can do better, but it's really great to see that people understand the SLOs and the things we expected to see in the survey, they were there, like things about, how SLOs is crucial for the business, understand the business impact, and it's something you can actually understand and measure. So it's really good to do this kind of surveys to understand where you're at and if people actually really understand what SLOs is about. The next one is external customer satisfaction. So at Paddle, we offer SLAs for checkout uptime, as I mentioned before. Like if we're unavailable, means people cancel the software, so the impact it's really big. So this SLA about checkout uptime is a composite of SLOs. So we have 3 or 4 SLOs that power this SLA. All the SLOs are fully automated, but when it comes to composition, it's where some more manual work is required to make sure we cover all the aspects. So it's something we want to work towards and improve in the future. And also, like when someone is either a customer or a new prospect that for Paddle, there's a technical persona that will be in the decision-making process, right? And one of the most important things for them will be reliability. Like, makes sense. Like, we're the company that will take the money for them. We need to make sure we're there so people don't actually lose customers and has a real impact. So as part of this, like obviously we say we have SLAs, we offer SLAs, but also we share more context around how we deal with reliability. One aspect of this is obviously SLOs, like how we work with SLOs, with the internal targets, etc., and all the other SLA things we do around incident management, etc. So it's kind of very important for new customers and prospects to understand that reliability, we take it seriously and not just an SLA. It has a lot of things and a lot of layers on the background. Yeah, and the next one I want to cover is SLOs are everywhere. Like people probably are bored of listening to me about SLOs all the time. But it's good to know that SLOs is out of engineering. It's not just an engineering thing. You can listen about SLOs with InfoSec context or IT context. So it's something that is pretty much our culture. It goes beyond engineering, which is really, really nice. Also, there are other folks that join the company, and when it comes to reliability, the first thing they think about is SLAs, which is good, but it's not how we work. And it's like the moment that I sit down and explain how SLO works, or the more time they spend with the team, they understand that really what they're talking about is SLOs, and this is more crucial because it cuts things, earlier, etc. So it's great to see people turning from the SLA management to SLO mindset. And the next one is failure. Like, people expect things to fail, like we have error budgets, etc. Obviously, it's not great to fail, but it's not something you can avoid. So it's great to building this kind of mindset slowly. It's important because it helps you build trust. Obviously, things will fail. It's what you learn from it. And SLOs help with that. So it's really nice to know that people sometimes they are comfortable with this, even if they don't like it. And the last one, it's the vibe checks. Like, we use SLOs for almost 2.5 years now, and lots of other things change around this area, around reliability, how to do with incidents, how we monitor things, etc. So it's like the whole vibe check of reliability have never been better. It's really great to see. And big aspect of this SLOs, like SLOs, when we introduce them, we start changing things. We see they see now the benefits, having a reliable platform that we're proud of to sell to our customers. So that's all I had to share. I hope you learned some bits about how we work with SLOs and how we try to understand the impact of SLOs to our customers and everyone else. Thank you again.